Lord, there's 61 highway, it's the longest road I know. Lord, there's 61 highway, it's the longest road I know.
It's literally about as kind of happy as I get. I mean, I feel like I've taken a really deep breath. Like everything is sharp, clear, the windows down, good music on, the road is there, I can do whatever I want.
Well, there's some folks that's down, Greyhound buses don't run.
For the best part of 20 years, Peter Kayafas has been taking pictures in the South.
Lord, there's some folks that's down, Greyhound buses don't run.
His photographs capture a part of America blighted by a civil war and racial conflict.
Look down Highway 61.
They capture the South's contradictions, its earthiness and its refinement, its hospitality and its hatreds, its celebrations, its tragedies. We're heading down Highway 61, the blues highway, deep into Mississippi, with no particular mission in mind other than to take photographs, listen to music, and speak to people along the way.
Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker. I'd say that Highway 61 is one of the most historically relevant roads in America because of the number of important musicians and artists and writers that lived along it and traveled along it.
Tonight, Highway 61 has brought us to Clarksdale, where bluesman John Lee Hooker got his start.
When you say blues, to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is black. Blues got started, it started with black people. People that were oppressed. They were just beat down, mistreated, cheated.
George Messenger owns one of Clarksdale's juke joints. There aren't many left now. Most have closed down like so many other businesses in this once prosperous cotton town. Years ago, George tried to leave as well.
I left and went to Europe. And the living conditions over there were so much better than what was here. And I didn't ever want to come back to the South.
But George had to come back to run the family business after his parents died. If it weren't for the blues enthusiasts who now come to town, George says Clarksdale would have closed down altogether.
We got some guys here that still play the blues. We got Big Jack Johnson. Well, if I was a casting, swimming in the deep blue sea, I'll have all your big leg women, will you love me? Will you love me? Take it out of me, Lord, take it out of me. Well, I went to my baby dog, and I sat down on the step, and I heard this thing, B.B. King.
that got in there, man. That sound, that feeling got in there, man, and Lord have mercy, I had to do it. I come home.
Sadly, Big Jack Johnson is one of the last of his kind. He says younger musicians don't play the blues anymore.
Like I was playing the Catfish and Baby Please Don't Go and Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, they don't want to play that. They want to play this other stuff. Killed the chicken yesterday, cut off his head, and all that kind of shit. That's what they want. They don't want this stuff here we got. This is our stuff, and it's gone. Girl, it's too train to run. Going my way. Saturday morning at midnight. That's the train.
That's an extraordinary thing to see, to have a private concert, really, by one of the great living, what's left of the great living blues musicians. So for me, it was great. I thought Jack was extraordinary.
60 miles and another world away, we land in Oxford, Mississippi. It's homecoming at Ole Miss, one of the South's most prestigious universities, and thousands of ex-students are here for a big football game.
It's not just the game. Here it's the traditions and everything that have gone on for years. Some people think the traditions are bad, and I think down here we really love traditions.
We're raised Southern by the grace of God. That's how we see it.
So, but y'all going to the game? You're not.
So tell me, what does it mean to be homecoming queen in the South?
You just walk out at halftime and you're presented and announced, and it's just kind of fun for a day. You're just queen for a day. It's fun.
From a photographic point of view, I find events to be very useful. Parades, big games, fairgrounds, amusement parks, places where there is multi-directional activity. I find useful to photograph because it allows me to blend in a little bit more easily and photograph. I think that one of the remarkable things about the South is that there are these incredible differences between blacks and whites, and yet they practice the same religion. And I love that irony. This church I first photographed about 7 or 8 years ago, and it's exactly the same, which is sort of nice. Look at that light come on it. That's perfect. Beautiful.
Ain't God all right? Do you know him tonight? Are you willing to trust him tonight? Ain't God all right? Do you know him to God? He's a doctor in the sick room. I know he's here. I tried him.
Across the border from Mississippi, in Selma, Alabama, the Reverend Booker T. Booker Jr. has invited us into his Morning Star Baptist Church.
It's very important because through religion has brought us through many things in this area up until this point. As you know, the civil rights movement, it started here, and basically it was started through the church and the young people.
One of those young people Reverend Booker is referring to is Joanne Bland. 4 decades ago, as an 11-year-old, she walked across this bridge and into the history books.
It's really
a beautiful river, isn't it?
It sure is. It really brings me back, though, to 1965 when I walked across the same bridge.
That march will not continue.
The Selma to Montgomery March, led by Martin Luther King, was a turning point in the civil rights struggle. The first attempt to cross the Alabama River was crushed, yielding some of the ugliest images from a time when this country was on a knife's edge.
And when we turned, we saw that we were surrounded, and they were beating people, just beating people. People were screaming and screaming. That's what I remember the most, the screams. It seems like they last forever.
Joanne has made it her mission in life to keep alive the stories and lessons of those years among Selma's young.
When I was a little girl, in fact, when I was about your age, I used to come to what we call mass meetings here. The people would gather here and strategize on how they were going to get the right to vote. Because at one time, people who looked like me and you couldn't vote. Vote for anything, the mayor, the president. We could. Nobody else is either. We hope. I still can go on my side of town, meaning the black side of town, and see the great difference in the white side of town. So to me, at some period over the last 40 years, we should have come closer to being the same, but it hasn't. It hasn't. And I often wonder what that says to our children. I grew up right here at 130 AC. And it's funny that the girl that lives...
Joanne is an extraordinary person. She's the best of what I've come across. She hasn't lost her connection to the place, even though it's done her wrong. May I take a picture of you on your porch?
Of course you can. That's why I came over here.
I thought so.
That used to be my bedroom.
Well, I'm waiting. I want to carry it. Swimming deep blue sea. I have all.
For me, every road trip is different. And it has a different dynamic. It has different results. I'm a different person when I'm there. I'm a more mature person, photographically and otherwise. I have more experience. You know, one of the things that I'm always a little concerned about when I go on a road trip is, you know, is it still going to be there? And of course it is. And it just gets better and better and better.